Welcome to another Whispers in the Dark story. Because they say in every apartment building, there's one unit no one talks about. In this case, it was apartment 3C. It looked normal enough from the outside, but once he stepped inside, Michael realized that something was wrong. There was a strange coating of dust everywhere, like no one had lived here for years, yet the apartment was clearly well maintained. A door sealed with 6 dead bolts, no name, no mail, no sound. He asked the landlord about it, and he shrugged. Storage unit. Don't worry about it, but the first night, Michael heard knocking. Loud banging coming from inside 3C. Then came the whispers. At exactly 3:33 a.m., Michael woke up to scratching behind the wall he shared with 3C. Then a voice, hoarse and barely audible. "Let me out." He froze. The wall, the plaster behind the picture frame, hanging on his wall. It was cold, icy. He pressed his ear against it, trying to make out what the voice had said. But then it stopped. And when Michael woke up the next morning, he asked his neighbor, an old woman in 3A, Mrs. Gable. Her face drained when he mentioned 3C. She shook her head, eyes wide. "Don't ask me about that unit," she rasped, voice raspy with age. "I haven't spoken a word about it in 10 years. Then she added softly, "No one lives there." "Not anymore." "Not since the fire." Michael's blood ran cold. The fire. Of course. The local news had covered it. A tragic tale of a family trapped in their home. A fire had broken out in the middle of the night, turning the whole building into an inferno. Miraculously, everyone had made it out, all except the family living in 3C. A married couple and their young daughter, Emily. They say the door wouldn't open. That she screamed and begged until her voice gave out. That the firefighters heard her even after the flames were gone. Michael shuddered. The thought of a little girl burning to death was terrifying. But why did the door not open? Did Emily's parents lock her in her room during the fire? Or was the door jammed? And what happened to them? As he made his way back to his apartment, pushing past the peeling paint and flickering light bulbs, he tried to push the memories of the fire out of his mind. But it was hard not to think about Emily. What he wouldn't give to have answers. For the rest of the month, he heard scratching, banging, and whispering behind his wall. It drove him crazy. Sleep became a distant memory. His days off were spent pacing around his apartment. Unsure what to do, his nights were filled with terror. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw a little girl trapped in a burning apartment, calling out for help. One night, he decided he'd had enough. He bought a camera and placed it opposite his wall with 3C. All he wanted was to get some sleep. At 3:33 a.m., the footage caught something. Michael stared at the screen, his heart hammering in his chest. The doorknob on 3C was slowly turning. No one was there. No footsteps. Just the knob turning, again and again. Until the camera shut off. The next night, Michael was ready. Armed with a baseball bat, he crept towards the mysterious apartment, his heart pounding in his chest. Each step echoed in the silent hallway. Suddenly, a noise from inside the apartment sent a chill down his spine. A soft, distorted child laughter. Michael hesitated, his grip tightening on the baseball bat. Should he investigate further? Curiosity battled fear in his mind. Then he heard it again. The laughter, it seemed to beckon him closer. Michael took a deep breath, steeling himself for whatever he might find. As he reached out to knock, a key slid under his door. Michael gasped, stumbling back as the heavy metal key landed at his feet. It was old, rusty, as if it had been buried for years. Attached to it was a scrap of paper. No handwriting. Just 3 words. Help me. Emily. Michael felt a chill run down his spine. Was this a prank? He considered calling the police, but the thought of them dismissing his story left a bitter taste in his mouth. Instead, he made a choice. He walked to 3C, the key shaking in his hand. He inserted it into the lock and turned. One deadbolt clicked open dot to dot 3. 6 locks clicked open. The door creaked inward. Michael stepped over the threshold, his eyes adjusting to the gloom. He heard a whisper behind him. You weren't supposed to open it. He turned, his gaze meeting the sight of a small girl standing in the hallway. Her eyes were hollow, like burned-out stars. Her smile was eerie, and whispered, "Now you stay with me." The door slammed shut. Misses. Gumbel's screams pierced through the night. When they forced the door open hours later, 3C was empty. No Michael. Only the rusted key. The police found no signs of a struggle, no indication of where Michael had gone. Some said he'd cracked under the pressure, while others believed he'd fallen victim to the apartment's dark history. But the truth, like the legend of Westwood Heights, remained hidden behind the peeling paint and flickering lights in the hallway. For years, residents whispered about the strange occurrences in the building. Some claimed they saw the ghost of Emily wandering the halls at night, while others heard her laughter echoing from apartment 3C. Then one day, the apartment was sealed off, no longer rented, and the rumors died down. However, late at night, if you listened carefully, you could still hear the faint scratching and the desperate pleas of a little girl trapped in a burning building. They say in every apartment building, there's one unit no one talks about. In this case, it was apartment 3C. From the outside, it looked like any other apartment, but inside, the air was thick with dust and the silence was deafening. No one had dared set foot inside since. That fateful night, when Michael vanished, the key to 3C lost. The apartment remained sealed, a silent testament to the tragedy that unfolded within its 4 walls. The legend of Westwood Heights continued to live on, a chilling reminder of the haunting presence that lingered in the old building. Emily's story echoed through the corridors, a haunting melody that played on repeat for anyone who dared to listen. They say in every apartment building, there's one unit no one talks about. In this case, it was apartment 3C. But the question remains, are these stories mere urban legends, or is there a darker truth lurking in the shadows of our cities? Do you believe in ghosts? Have you ever experienced anything supernatural? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more spine-chilling tales.